Nigeria at large. This program, Riches and Voices, is coming to you live on independent television and radio simultaneously. So we want to say Happy New Year to our TV audience and a very Happy New Year to those who always find out time to listen to us on radio. My name is Kingsley Okoje, and my guest for today is the Executive Director, Navid Melody Omosa Esquire. Melody was with us on our Christmas edition, and today he's with us on our New Year edition. Melody Omosa, welcome once again to Riches and Voices.
Thank you so very much.
It's always a delight having you on the program.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to our viewers and listeners, our followers on Riches and Voices.
I will not forget to mention our sign language interpreter for today is Olayinka Constance Davis. She's the one doing justice to our deaf community on the program today. Like I said, it's our New Year edition. It's 2026, and I don't even care if I say it so many times. Once again, Happy New Year. We all are looking forward to this year to be a great year for everyone. That is not excluding the disability community. Last week on this program, the Executive Director, Navid, tried his best to take us through a roll call of some of the achievements that the community of persons with disability enjoyed in the year 2025. And he is also optimistic that the year 2026 will indeed be another great year. But on the program too today, we'll try our best to also show you how Navid decided to put smiles on the faces of persons with disability during the Christmas celebration. We'll take a clip from that event just to show you that Navid is indeed in the business of putting smiles on the faces of persons with disability in Edo State. But on the program today, we're just going to project into 2026. I want to know what the community of persons with disability in Nigeria and indeed in Edo State, what they should look up to in the year 2026. And my very first question, of course, would be, what should we be looking forward to in this year 2026?
All right, thank you so very much. Again, Happy New Year to our followers on Riches and Voices. And I'm glad that we have a brand new year before us, a gift from the Almighty Himself. And as an organization, we're optimistic that this year will be a great one, and some of the things that we're not able to do in the past years, we should be able to record some very remarkable and significant successes this year, as far as deepening issues of inclusion and guaranteeing access for persons with disabilities in the polity generally. And that's our expectation, our prayers, and our work this year, to deepen advocacy, to elevate advocacy, so much so that persons with disabilities will find respite in society, being able to be counted and being able to be mainstreamed into governance and development initiatives in Nigeria. All of what Navid will be doing in 2026 will be centered around that. And I'm glad, like I said last year, we have a commission for persons with disabilities in Edo State. You know very well that we have one at the national, but Edo State was able to join the bandwagon last year when in March 2025, a commission was inaugurated. This is the first year, full year, that the commission will be operating. In fact, the first time they will have a budget to their name. So we'll be excited to see, we'll be looking forward and excited to see what the commission will do for persons with disabilities. But as a non-state actor, which Navid is, we are going to be holding the commission and other agencies of government accountable. We are ready to collaborate where we can and also hold them accountable, pointing them to what by law and by the law of the land, which the Edo State Persons with Disability, and by other framework, both legal and administrative, what they should be doing for persons with disabilities. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2026 in the various aspects, just to be sure that people with disabilities have their fair share of governance in 2026.
All right, I know over the years, or in the past 1 year, you've tried to partner with the Commission to give the Commission a good start. But I would like us to take it one after the other. Let's look at the area of education, which I know NAVID is very, very particular about. Education, like you always say, is a leveler for persons with disability. In the area of education, what would you want the Commission to do as regards to education for persons with disability in Edo State?
All right. Before now, we have not only advocated for the education of persons with disability, we have actually practically bear some of the burden of seeing to it that we do not only talk about education, but also going, if you like, out of our way, out of the normal call of advocacy, to providing scholarship grants for persons with disabilities and assisting them with devices that will aid their education, such as providing laptops, computer, up to wheelchairs for those who need it. Because you say education, a lot of things, there are a lot of variables for
that
persons
would aid education.
That would, yes, a lot of variables. You are not just talking about reading and writing. Before you talk about that, one that is physically challenged, for instance, we need to be able to access the classroom, and where he doesn't have a wheelchair to do that, the education cannot happen for that individual. NAVID has not only talked about this, but we've gone out of our way to providing some of these assistive devices for persons with disabilities. We've also in the past advocated for a kind of tuition consideration for persons with disabilities in state-owned tertiary institutions, because at the time we found it quite challenging and demanding that we will go all out to source for fund for the education of persons with disabilities, and at the end of the day pay same fund to government institutions for children with disability to have access, knowing fully well that these institutions by themselves have barriers that would otherwise prevent the persons with disabilities from enjoying the facilities provided by this institution on an equal basis with others. For instance, I just mentioned sometimes we have to acquire wheelchair for persons with disabilities, right? You have a wheelchair as one that is as a user of wheelchair, and you get to school, there are no ramps, you have to find a way to access the classroom, you have to find a way to spend a lot of money to provide some of those things for yourself, which the institution ordinarily should be their responsibility. At the end of the day, you pay the fee that other students pay. You pay the boarding fee that others will pay. But yet there is no form of succor or relief for you by way of what government provides. All of that has been done. We've asked that, there should be some form of rebate. We have also gone ahead to even develop for the Edo State government an education roadmap on how education can be brought closer to the people, persons with disability, progressively in a 10 years duration plan. All of that we have done just to ensure that education is accessible to persons with disability. But we now have a disability law that has made education, if you like, compulsory for persons with disability from primary to tertiary level. So our advocacy has paid off. There is a law and there is a commission. What we want to see that the commission does is to liaise with those in the education ecosystem, the Ministry of Education, the State Ministry of Education, the State Universal Basic Education Board, the Board for Technical and Vocational Education, the Senior Secondary Education Board, all of these in the education sector, to find out what they have, their programs, how relevant, beneficial, and adaptable it is for persons with disabilities. So it's time for government to begin to look at their programs, look at their policies. And in this light, the commission should be seen leading that, because that is the mandate. That is their mandate. The law has saddled them with the responsibility for the education of persons with disabilities. And those who are the primary provider of education for the citizenry and residents of Edo State, the Ministry of Education and other like agencies, government, and by that I mean the Edo State Commission, should engage them to ensure that their policies, their programs, their activities have persons with disabilities inclusive in those programs, so that you do not say that, oh, education is free, generally speaking, by the Universal Basic Education Law for the first 9 years of the educational journey of any child. Yet, there are no inclusive schools where persons with disabilities can access across the 18 local government areas of Edo State, for instance. So the commission, it's high time they started talking about this, and not just to talk, but to actually ensure that the relevant agencies of government does the
right, but
in this regard.
Let's be very practical about this now. I know that, like you said, NAVID had designed a roadmap for inclusive education for the Edo State government. You did that quite well some time ago. I know that that document contains some short, medium, and long-term strategy to make education inclusive for persons with disability, because we know that the universal law makes it compulsory for children generally, but the challenge that persons with disability are faced with is the issue of access to education. But what, in your view, would be a quick fix? Because we have a situation where the only primary school for people with visual impairment we have in Edo State is just one. It's been in Benin here. A lot of children don't have access to it. And I'm aware that there was a bus provided to commute students to school. That bus has been down for quite some time. I'm also aware that students in Idia College will have to pay for their hostel fee, and most children with disability can't afford this, and as a result, they are out of school. What, in your view, would be the quick fix for the commission to sort out some of these issues that persons with disability in Edo State are faced with?
All right. The persons with disabilities should have access to education at the same level that their counterparts without disabilities should enjoy presently. As to quick fix, the first thing is for the commission to undertake an assessment of what is happening presently. And you mentioned that there is one school. I understand that there are about 3 or 4 others which are actually moribund. There were arrangements for some schools, they're designated, but of course they do not have teachers, and so they are not able to admit children that should access those schools. But the problems you've just mentioned, having a vehicle that is broken down, having children not being able to pay for their accommodation and all that, the commission should see what is happening presently, take it from where it is, ensuring that what already is on ground, it's working, and take it from where they meant it to take it to the next level of incrementally increasing the participation of children with disabilities in the education space. It's not going to happen overnight, automatically, yes, but we will be satisfied if there is some form of progression in this regard, that, or this is what is, we ensure that what is happening presently is sustained, and you now want to take it to the next level of, okay, this is what we can achieve in 2026, going forward in another 2-3 years we should be able to do this, and that plan needs to be clearly spelled out.
Fantastic. We'll go over to the issue of employment, but before we do that, we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, Hitches and Voices continues. In case you're joining in, the program is Hitches and Voices on independent television and radio. Like I always say, don't forget we are on independent television and we're broadcasting on independent radio as well. My guest is Melody Omosa, and he is projecting into the year 2026 what he expects the Edo State Disability Commission to do for persons with disability. And he talked on education, the intervention he would want the commission to do in the area of education. Let's move to the area of employment. That's one area NAVID is also very particular about. What would you expect the commission, what would NAVID also be doing in this regard?
Well, for NAVID, we would work collaboratively with the commission to seeing that employment as far as persons with disabilities happen for those who are so qualified. I often will say that disability qualifies nobody for employment, but society will be irresponsible after you see your children or your citizens or residents with disability with all the odds go through school properly trained, qualified, and are left to suffer used very advisedly because from lack of employment. How else can they be encouraged? We will work with the commission to see that at least positive step is taken in that regard. But if there's one thing that I know the commission is already doing, they have this in mind and they've already started engaging. I'm aware, for instance, that the commission has met with the State Civil Service Commission and also with the Local Government Service Commission in the state, reiterating, emphasizing the need to prioritize the employment of persons with disabilities in the state. And so I'm confident that now that they have that in their agenda and they are following through, we will also just work to see that, yes, what needs to be done whenever there is employment opportunity, people with disabilities are not left out in that program. I am confident that this would work because this administration thus far is demonstrating readiness to accommodate persons with disability in the states, in the civil and public space, in the Edo State Civil and Public Service. Recall that only last December, there was a standalone employment from one young lady, a fiscally challenged lawyer, who just got called in September last year. And when in December a request was made for immediate employment to encourage her, encourage her resilience and determination and brilliance, government wasted no time in approving an employment. And I can also report that she has actually resumed work. Her letter of employment has been given to her and she has resumed job.
A big shout out to the Edo State government for making do their promise to employ Kindness Dausa, a fiscally challenged girl. I recall that NAVID made a case for her during our third Rights Above Charity lecture, which took place on the 3rd of December, and government moved swiftly to give that young lady employment. These are the kind of things we want to witness in Edo State, inclusive governance, and the government is smashing action with words. That's fantastic. But we'll take a break from all of that. Like I said in my intro, NAVID did a palliative disbursement to some persons with disability just to make them feel the moment of Christmas, and that was indeed a delight to see. We'll go to that video now. We'll come back. We'll continue our conversation with the Executive Director, NAVID. We'll be back.
I want to welcome you to this 2025 palliative distribution by NAVID, a token for Christmas. First, we want to thank God Almighty for sparing our lives, that you are here in spite of everything that we've gone through this year.
NAVID, and I want to also say thank you to NAVID for this palliative in order for us to be able to have a beautiful Christmas. Thank you so much, and God bless.
That's how we roll at NAVID. A big shout out to NAVID for always doing what they know how to do better. But in rounding up very quickly, I would like to move to the area of awareness. The law is here, the commission is here, but what's not so much present is the issue of awareness. How much do people know about the law? I'm aware that the law provides a moratorium period for people to adjust public buildings, for example, when it comes to building code, making public building accessible for persons with disability. I would just like you to touch on these few areas very briefly, and looking forward to 2026, how NAVID tend to partner with the Commission in terms of awareness about the law and the Commission.
Well, the relationship between NAVID and the Commission presently is symbiotic, and I think that we are emphasizing on the awareness. The law clearly mandates the Commission to create awareness about its existence, and the Commission will be encouraged to follow that part of the law so that persons in the society will be aware of the disability law and what their responsibilities under the law is. And so, yes, there's a moratorium of 5 years, and awareness will be created.
No, but it's like the state law is 3 years.
You don't wait. It's 5 years also.
All right.
You don't wait for 5 years before you start sensitizing the people and before the steps that need to be taken for modification of public buildings will be taken. Yeah. So we'll work with the Commission to create the relevant awareness.
2026 promised to be a very good year for the community of persons with disability in Edo State and in Nigeria at large. We know it's also going to be a campaign season, a campaign year moving towards 2027. And we hope the disability community in Nigeria will be part of that conversation moving towards 2027. It's a wrap on the program today. We'll do this again next week. My name is Kingsley.
Perhaps before I just, let me also thank the founder, management, and staff of ITV. It's the very first edition for 2026. They've been our very big partners. So kudos to them. Wishing all of them a very happy new year and a prosperous one at that.
We know ITV is very disability friendly, so shout out to ITV management and staff as well. We'll do this again next week. Today, my name is Kingsley Okoje, saying spot the hitch and be a voice.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, setting the the best.
In the evening of the initiation day, all the newly initiated Edion danced to the residents of the Odion Way and also visited some homes of the various senior elders, where Chief Elder Ogbeide Onwonse was very conspicuous, especially at the country home of Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion with his family on the night of the initiation. On the following morning, as part of the rite to be performed by the newly initiated Edion in Okada town, the initiates, led by Chief Elder Ogbeide Onwonse, visited the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion, at his Okada country home residence to pay homage and appreciate him for all he has done in the development of the community, which has placed Okada in world map. They also thanked him for his role in the success of their ceremony. They commended the Esama of Benin as a custodian of Benin cultural heritage and for revitalizing the age-long tradition of the age-grade ceremony.
Welcome to the program Youth Perspective on Independent Television. I am your host, Joy Obaisiamo. And as you know, on this special program, we look at societal matters from the youth perspective. And today is no different. Today, we will be looking at, business as a young adult, going into business, navigating the business world and, having to achieve success. I will be having this conversation today with my guest, Ambassador Terry Osemigie. He is the MD CEO of Unbeatable Motors and also the vision bearer of Educa Auction. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Joy. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right.
All right, let's quickly get into the conversation. Let me know about my viewers. Let's get into that particular, let's just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
What are those traits do you think that, young adults should have before they get into business? Some persons will say that this person is born to be a businessman. Mm-hmm. Is there something like that?
Thank you so much for that. Actually, to start up a business as a young man, as a youth, it actually do not require so much. Yes, it don't require so much. First of all, you need to identify the kind of business that you want to do. You need to know exactly what you want to do. And then you also need to have passion for the kind of business that you think you also want to do. When you have all these things, I think you don't need too much, because these are the things that will drive you to be able to, do this kind of business or do whatever kind of business that you want. Another thing is that as a youth, you can start very small. You don't have to start big. All right. But some of the youths today are actually looking for a way to start so big. And that's the reason why you see that so many youth are not actually, finding themselves in business. Again, there are some certain business that you can start without, like with little or nothing. All right. But those business can look like, a business that some youth do not want to identify themselves with, because some of them see themselves as graduates. They see themselves as people who have more knowledge, who have gone far and wide, and for that reason, they want to start so big. But if you look inward, there are some business that you can actually start with small, and you begin to, follow it up from there, little by little, and you go from there. So, what you really need as a young man is not so much. Be determined, and then look for a business, and then start small. That's what I would advise any youth out there.
All right, you're a businessman yourself, MD of Unbeatable Motors. You're into automobiles.
Yes.
And so tell us, starting up, you didn't just start now, right?
Yeah.
What are those challenges that, personally from your end, what are those challenges that you faced, coming up right now?
All right. For me, it's something that I would like to really share. And that's why I'm so glad that you're asking me this question right now. I remember in 2009, when I decided to go into the car business, my challenge was capital. You will agree with me that to do car business, you can't start small. There's no way you can start small doing a car business. That's just the simple truth. So, but truly, when I started, I didn't have the cash, the capital to start. But what I did was that I got engaged with the business and I started learning the business while I was trying to do other little business like selling of clothes, selling of shoes to my friends, to my family. I started doing that, and that was how I was able to, generate some few amounts of money far back 2009. I think it's about 16 years now. I started like that, and before you know it, because the business as at that time was the business that I really want to do, I actually look around and I said to myself, I said, car business is the only business that I like. But then I didn't have the capital. So I kept on little by little in other businesses, and I started raising money, started gathering money till get a particular point. The thing is, while I was even in the car business, I didn't have money to buy, but because I was already in the business, I was already doing some form of marketing of cars. So I started, getting calls from family and friends.
Like a car agent.
Yes, like they wanted to buy from me. They even want to ask me, okay, I saw you posting, can you advise? So that was how I started. And before you know it, these persons will actually want to buy from me. What I do is that I try to get from these people who own this vehicle at that time, and then I sell and then make my own little profit. So that was how I started little by little. And before you know it, I was able to raise some certain amount of money. I could remember very clearly the first money that I raised to actually bought a car to sell was about 380,000. That was in the year 2012. All right.
That's a long time.
Yes, I raised 380,000, and I was able to look for a particular car to buy, and that was my first car. All right, and even the 380,000 at that point, when I actually wanted to buy the first car, the car was like 420,000. All right, so what I did was that I have a boss of mine that I was working with then, of blessed memory, though he's late now. His name is Idaosa Jos Bazwaye, JBS Estate. I used to work with him under the entertainment sector then. And then I went to meet him and I told him, I said, sir, I'm into this business, and for the first time I've been able to raise some money and I want to buy a car to start selling. Let me just start with this. And he was like, oh, really? I said, yes. Okay, what do you have? How much do you have? I said, I have 380,000. I said, okay, how much is the vehicle? I said, 450,000. He said, okay, no problem. That was how he gave me the balance of that, Now, he told me one thing after some time. He said, the reason why I gave you that money is because over time, I have seen it in you that you are a business-minded person and you are serious with what you're doing. And that's why I gave you that money. So ever since then, I was able to grow that 450,000 into millions. I grew to a stage whereby I was able to, open my own car shop. I was able to incorporate my own business, so this is how I started. So while I was also doing that, another thing that you must also look at is when you are trying to grow a business, you must try to move with the right set of people. You must have to follow good link, good network. You must have to, be able to go out to events and try to, identify with people, connect with people. And you also need to let people know this is what I'm doing. All right. And while you are doing that, you also have to look at the area of taking your business beyond just, staying there. You have to take it to the social media. In fact, I could tell you for free that in car business in Edo State, I am one of those who started marketing on social media. I can tell you that in Sapele Road as a whole, where I started my car business, I am one of those. And so many car dealers will tell you that when this issue of, using WhatsApp to get to customers, get to your, bring your co-dealers together and, I started it. Until now, one of those, group that I created has amounted to about 43 million people on Facebook.
That's quite a huge
yes.
success. And so talk to us about, those down moments that you have to now learn from. It's not all rosy.
True.
A lot of times.
True.
So talk to us about that, the failures where you have to, stand up and be like, okay, I have to keep pushing. Yeah. Things like that. How was it for you, the journey?
Okay. Yes, every business has their ups and downs. When I was coming up, I used to have, some of these challenges like you not having in my own line of business, because every business have their own various challenges. Yeah. So my own business, my biggest challenge was that I didn't have enough capital to start it, you know, at one point, at a given point. So I started small. And the bad thing about car business is if you have just a car, the car can remain there for almost a year. All right, because you have just a car.
Doesn't go bad.
Not like it doesn't go bad. The good part is that it does not go bad. Car business, when you buy your car, you leave it there. It can be there for another 2 years. If you want to sell, you can still make that profit that you want to make, even beyond the profit that you have planned to sell before.
Wow.
All right, but the bad thing is that if you do not have enough capital to be able to have at least 5 cars, that's when you are sure of selling at least once every month. When you have enough cars, you know, you are sure of selling at least once every month. But if you have one car, you can be there for 6 months you've not sold, because perhaps that your car is not the car that people really want at that point. But if you have more of those vehicles, you can always sell. And so what it means is that, you know, I wasn't making money more often, but the business is so lucrative. People make money here and there every now and then, but it depends on when you have enough capital. So it took me a very long time to be able to, you know, kind of pass that stage. And I was able to pass that stage because I was well recognized in the business. I got involved, you know, with so many people, politicians, entertainers, businessmen. And if I couldn't sell my car, as a friend, as a colleague, or as somebody who I've done business with before, you can decide to bring a car for me to sell. So before you knew it, I started getting people giving me, you know, so much vehicle in my own care to sell. So before you know it, I'm having like 10 cars already. All right. Because over time, I've been able to, you know, sell myself. And not just that, you have to be able to show people that, yeah, they can trust you with money, because dealing with car business is dealing with money.
Exactly.
And people can come and give you a car worth, you know, 10 million and say, help me to sell. So it's like giving you 10 million naira cash to help sell. So people always look for that person that they can trust. That person who has that, fear of, of wanting to keep his or her name, to ensure that their integrity, exactly, that's the right word, of wanting to keep their integrity. Those are the people that they are always looking for to engage in business. So if you are also trying to do any form of business, you must also ensure that you have integrity. And that integrity must be seen in you. Because people just look at you and they give, maybe based on the conversation they must have had with you, based on one or two questions they must have asked somebody about you. So they will want to know if you really have that integrity before they can do business with you.
All right, my viewers, if you have been following us right from the onset of this, program, Youth Perspective, firstly, at some point we've talked about integrity, and we've talked about how you can be able to go into, and today we're talking about business. So you see that, we're just following it step by step, and now integrity is actually coming in again. Yeah. We're going to take a very short break right now. Then when we come back, we'll dig deeper into this discussion. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Youth Perspective on Independent Television. And I still remember your host, Joy Obaisiagbon. And I am with Ambassador Terry, talking about, youth in business, having to achieve success and navigating, the challenges in business. So let's move forward, actually. Talking about mentorship. You talked about networking. I don't think in any business that, any young adult would want to go into, they wouldn't want to need a mentor in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about mentorship, how do you think young adults can actually, leverage mentorship in achieving success in business generally?
Okay. I think mentorship is one way to grow in business, because you must learn from someone before you can grow in that business. And it also requires a lot of, being dedicated. All right. Because people like to take those who are dedicated before they can say, okay, this person, let me show them this way. So first of all, you have to be very serious with yourself, and then you have to be loyal. If you're working with somebody, you have to be loyal so that the person can actually use his whole complete mind to say, okay, let me, tutor you very well. So mentorship is very, very important. All right. Personally, I actually went through mentorship in car business. In fact, before I got to this stage, I have tried some certain things before I actually, came into car business. Okay. So that means that you have to keep trying, till you are able to get what you feel you want to do. And you got to keep meeting the right people and making them understand that you are ready to learn. You are ready to, follow their footsteps and let them mentor you. All right. So when you keep bringing out this form of attitude, people will take you so seriously. All right. So for me, my car business, I am 100% open. By the grace of God, I've been able to, mentor so many youths, in the past few years, let me say the past 10 years, I've been able to mentor some youths. And by the grace of God, one of the first youth I mentored in car business is overseas now, and he's doing very well. And there's no time that he comes to this country that he doesn't, reach out to me. When he's even there, he calls me. And I have so many of them still here in this country that I've been able to also mentor. And they're all doing well.
Yeah, you see, the way you talk about this, your car business, you're making it, look as though, I feel like I should, come into it and,
Well,
of course, it's very lucrative, right?
Yeah. Car business is a lucrative business. Another thing is, in car business, even if you don't have money, you can actually be there and you'll be making money. Remember I told you that at a point I started getting people giving me cars, because I was already learning the business, and before they were giving me cars. As a matter of fact, I started getting people giving me cars before I was able to even raise money to buy my car.
But let's be very realistic right now. If I'm to come into your car business, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the agency part of it. Can we actually balance that part? Like, because when you talk about the real estate, people will be like, oh, 10%, 5%, 15%, 20%. I even heard right now that some persons are collecting 15%, right? So how does it really work in, your line of business?
Okay, fine. Ours is not percentage. It's called commission.
Oh.
All right. But there's a particular slang that we call it in our business. It's called do my share. All right. It's like saying you are able to do the business, so you have to share. All right. Now, in our business, you get commission based on any car you are able to help sell. All right. And there's no particular amount to the kind of commission that you might get.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you short very quickly. Talking about these finances in business, how do you think we can actually manage, having to, take care of responsibilities and knowing when to take risks in business, generally speaking?
Taking risk in business is something that one must always do, because if you don't take risk, at times you may not grow.
Exactly.
But again, before you take the risk, be sure that you have been mentored. Be sure that you've known, the business. Be sure that you understand the business that you want to go to. Be sure that, yes, you like the kind of business that you want to go into. That's what matters, because getting, capital to do a business is one of the biggest, problem anyone can face. It's always not easy to get capital to start a business. That is why I said earlier that you must have to start very small. All right. In my kind of business right now, as it is right now, you can be there and helping to market my business. And when I sell, I send you a commission, and that commission is from 100,000 and above. All right. It depends. If it is between a car of like maybe 2-3 million naira, be sure that you can get like 100,000. If it is between a car of 5 million, be sure that you can get like 200,000. So it depends. If it's a car of like maybe 10 million naira, be sure that you can get like 500,000. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
So, but it also depends on how you are able to, because another thing is when you bring somebody to come and buy a car from me, that person is your own sure connection, right? So you also have to some extent, some influence in that person. So you are to do your own part to ensure that the person eventually buys from me. Because I'm not the only marketer out there. There are so many other marketers. All right. So other persons who are also selling are also trying to sell. So you who is bringing that person to me should be able to also do your best to ensure that the person eventually buys from me. All right. So by the time the person eventually buys from me, you are sure of your percentage. All right. So that is the way it's done. Whether you say it or not, as long as you're able to bring a buyer to me, before you leave, I'll tell you, send me your account number. Since you bring that buyer, and I'll send you money, because I understand that you have just done your job, because it's not easy to get somebody to buy your product. All right. So for you to bring that person to me, you will be well appreciated.
All right. As we've heard from Ambassador Terry, he's actually an ambassador, so he's open to teaching you how to go into car business if you're willing to, help you and mentor you go through it. So very quickly before we go, we cannot totally rule out, the set of people that are actually in business right now. A lot of them, their business have gone down, looking at Nigeria economy.
Yeah.
So lastly, before we go, your final words, can you actually, help us, talk to us? How do you think, people like that can actually come out from that and bounce back into business and, see that it goes well?
Okay. You see, the situation in Nigeria right now economically is telling on everybody. No business that is not feeling it right now. Even in car business, I remember some years ago, some certain amount of money can get you up to 10 cars. Some years ago, with 20 million, I can get 10 cars. I don't know if you get my point. But that 20 million today can just get you 2 cars, let me say 3 cars maximum.
Depending on
the kind of car that you want to buy. And, Nigerians love sophisticated, things. And the kind of cars that are actually, sellable in the market, that are of high demand right now in the market, are the kind of car that you want to get. All right. And if you fail to go and get the kind of car that is, that is not in the market, then you'll be rest assured that you're going to lose. You're going to lose, because at the end of the day, the car will remain there, and perhaps you have to go and sell it below the price. Okay. So I will advise people now, you just have to keep on doing your best. You don't have to stop, because I know some persons who, because of the dollar increments and so many other things that have allowed for the car business to be very high, they actually step up the business. All right. And some persons like myself kept on pushing, even though I know that the money I used to have, that I can use to buy 5-10 cars, I cannot buy that car again. But I don't have to just completely go out of business. I have to keep on, doing the business and hoping for the best, hoping that yes, tomorrow I'm able to get a better capital to invest more in my business. So you just have to keep going on. And for the youths out there, let me say this, those youth in Edo State, I am very, very open. If you feel that you want to learn car business, you are sure that you are ready to learn car business, be it a male or a female. I have tutored both male and female in this business before. So if you feel you want to learn it, be free to reach out to me. By the grace of God, I have my own company where I sell my cars. I will put you through.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful one right there. As you've heard from my guest today, keep on pushing. Don't stop. It's not all rosy out there. We understand all businesses face challenges, right? So, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we meet again next week, I'm Joy Obaisiamo. Bye for now.
ITV. ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
Gloria, TV, certainly the best.
Oya bota now. Ogi bota we se do no pe o. De na wa yire. Wa ya bupo ogbon na imala. Maka bo pon salobo aye dagbe ma ya fe. Ya na mi we onwe ma we supuna 2026. You know na ni wa. Awe gbura 2025. Awe gbura ene. Awe ani hu yo. When my nerunia, Nupowe say, Honorable, Dina Uki Yasukino, a day I said there, Upoya Supo, Uzola Suzola, Irako Yarwe, Denania, when I Upo ye, when I am Upo, no Hekenaru, having no Bela, Naya Doline, Nala. Ma yenu wa oni ibota already na ibota e kwe ga gboso we we matawa na na ya ka oni o khanata we iba ota
eredikete
we gedede ana swi balile wo ga ni gedegbe na ite palo we na iba na tutayi a ebia gayo iba ota oni ma ite ibota na ni wa ya no gwo egwa we na we de na we na ampo na he na ore ba go ten re pastor Calvary na mo
iwe dodo wo be ise lo gbe wa bi na ge kai wa bota wa bi dawo wa be diketi ofo so sago wa ya ro oba atokpe
ise ore ba ten re Victor Ibizugbe
donewu wa donewu somo ọwọ́ do na kí ó kọ́ tẹ́mì ọ̀rẹ́rẹ́rẹ́ kẹ́nu mi ò mìíràn náà dọ́ àti yé náà gbọ̀n bí màá kí wá ayé wọ́n gáfí wèrè rárọ̀ òpó náà gáfí wèrè ládàgbọ́n máa ya ọba àtọ́pẹ́.
Iṣẹ́ mẹ́ ọ̀sán abọ́sẹ̀ ń jẹ lórí ẹ̀ o lórí ẹ̀dọ́ba yọ̀ká ọ̀rẹ́ dòyà fẹ́rẹ́ méjì tó wà yá o ọba àtọ́pẹ́.
Iṣẹ́
ẹni máa gbà ká ní wọn ọ̀rẹ́ òmùhàn ọ̀rẹ́ ukpona yena omuhoe bo deni bu ya fe na ya gba ore gbima de afi wori ero no keke na ga ukpona ma we ko yinu we ikai de ye we ro na aye we no ga aye we nupo ma we ge atuma no guma go sun ogena ore wa ge pastor Calvary na mo
edoro pe o
obuke
domono wa makaka about too wide look bevel mabe pon salobo ye dagme imaya fe unda noragmo owe iselogbe nokpa ne we adobo sikeno ye kino lobi eyi ona riso we da wi selogbe binu ne aka we ogbe iseno nu da we yin gigu agbonro o we gu agbonro una da mi mana una ri mana bi magbe selogbe nu maka abokmo sa obo aye mi no sa lobo awu ni ma ke wuwe ona do ri eti ni ma da ya sede na ni ma ya na goda o na do mi ewe upogbon na lai na o sa lobo do akeri eti ni ma ya la o eyin ma je na ma pon mo go do anu we edi ma we pon mo go do anegbi ma we pon ni te ni pe ave ni ko ma we pon ni mo o sa obo ya we ma se oro mo ge pon mo ge so pa ete apon mo go do awe ara mi fore ni are mi omuwe oro bi de yiye da dia opono gbera ofomo osene sokma obe eyi marije na obe we eniyan ka o ga ki asun eni ogbon na ki asun obe na ya mo egbe ko ye o ke ye na wo mo no re suku ara imi ere ogbedare ara mi e class no ga aye ni re amu esu fo re ye ke re mo gbe popo na wo re gbe sun e o re ke class o be e ri be na ego deni are la mo gbe ko e o be se ni lagbara nu nda o so e eri no na ko we be no ka o na te primary 1 mo pare primary 2 o be ege mi na ke re viore no be gbe se ni lagbara e no o ka ga bo mo gbe do mo ne te tie be no o gbe sika o gbe wo yo be ni ase ti ya le ogogbon na mie na no lagbara so pa mapo wo do ai ma so yi ugbe amu gbe se de ogogbon na ye wa ri ma fi u de fi agbo ma ye kina ni ama ro ke aye wa ma e de bie e bo ti insurance we ga mu igbese oba la to pe
ise we se o bi ye e wa he no ta ama e de ye ima wa gwa pe du so anoka pe de nu poge vai ma ya gwa na wana so pa bi ro ri aye o sa lo bo adole yi ni ma
ise
agwa ne hu menu we ya mu egbe enwe no sa lo bo ari enwe enwe ni ka wa ri enwe nu mi ewe no gbera ne ma o ya dolo bonai e no sunu dame e mo ame no a e me go ni ma mi no a e me mi no ma so bo no a e me amadolo wi yese no a e me agun me gbina no a me we me gbe a mi no ma keke ni hu e ga ru a do zano ga ro eni ya fe ai ya ga ewe ye mama no ro e bona e kina do no a wa do ki e de nu mi e ki e ke fi bo no a e ku me no a e ke wari na e ke egwe na ke milano nudo de nu mi e wo mpo ite gba e na ya fe a ga ya ro mama o ku na dala ya se gbogbo no ma gwa ka ya nu wa o te me ge bizugbe rigun ayo
Hedonewa wa habitota akaka boss aga wa se kepe ti uwe nu wa dan hel ma ha inu kan na kan pogbon na la na ru da we eri una ga we a ebo we egbon wa ro be ri o dibi afi were e to ladian ku gba kere una ga we mi opopa emi no be sunu ye ke opopa kan be ya sunu wo ekeru gunya yunukpo we gba yo ukpo na inyanu we miewo be no we ka we se ero kan we ase de ga na me wa fi were na ga ro afi were we ga re no kan we ga miewo ru do ni ugbo gbegbe a ekiwe do a de mi nu weru bi mu na nu wina lu ya ri ba we de agbe tu we ki abore a u we re no kan o ku gbode wo bo kan ra tu we ki wa kan pa we re de mi weru de wu me mi o ka ke na nu fi were e nu ga me mi wu hu da wo wa na me mi no ru e me mi no ta u do ga wo wa na hi o ti e do lo wa eyi o na se ti ga hi o o ma se ti ga hi o yo te kekan gbogbon na we la na ni a ugba mo gbe yo he wa ke ya lupo na tu ga wa we mu dia no we ra he emi e fe nu he ya wo gwe a abi tu kan ti bo ye mi da na mewe e no ro be ga ladian de ugbo we gbe ayamu ha we yo to ni a so bu kan afi ono ya nwin na abi wo pa kan ko ya rewe emi ni ya obun e ki we do a de ye ki owe de no bo ye ki gba fa e ki owe de no bo we te do umi ewe e ki gbu asi gba lo ki upo na we afi we ri a abi wo aye we gbe sun e ga we ye re binu ka rewe de ge ri onu ufi bo be guri e no we ga ro be owe wa e de le ko iso ire e ga na de na mi ma na e ba na de le na de yi na ta nwina ake yo wa amayu aye e okoko ya adu e iku
ya adu e ku wese
oba to pe
ise anyway wa da no ta oten mabuwe de oten pastor eso ro o ka no de ka e bugbora de kan bible kan yeso la de awo ni ma re hunda e ma so do dan yi ma ga teme so we so pa me e mi no we de e be no wan no salo boya yiyi na gbe la dia ma we ya ze de wana
domo ni wa e do lo pe o salo boya gbon na mi ma e ko to gbaru da ma ko aero awa so pa e ma so ro no wa to ta bi bo kwa hara ya agwalo ni ero akọrọ na hara emu we ko we aroi owa ma wa e koko ya do eku o salo baba mi baba na re ne we amako ero we ga o we mu se ni ye o bo ma na wa ya gbe o segi ne gbe emi ni ma gbo kan de na e afi weri e we wi yo total we nu we ogbo wa ya ise we ga o e ke nu na de so bo mu salo ba nu ga ide e ke nu we na de we total wa pa ro nu so ba mari e ko na ya o yi o na ya he we emi ni una ima we se nu do de ni la o ze ni mana ma mu so ene soro ne do ne de total no de mu dia o ba we bi gba ori eke di ege we emi na ni e una ze ne ri ma ya tabage bizugbe we mana ze dia mu dia nu o yi onu de mu dia wa nyu nyi me egbenu ka nyi ukpono gbera e uje be uyo egbe sun e medical test e won we e me soro iye we gbe yulu le we e vekirikiri bu de me da o gba kia e me so ke wa sun ne ipe de va bu be mi ukpo na that on the second ipe de va e de o ka owo ara wa we mi ukpo ara ri ra e kini bu ma kie so je be kie o e do o ka oni ipe de baba so sun ne wa we za be ni gbo we mi ukpo unda igba ke we pe do ka oni opa me ukpoge ba we aseki yoso ene ai be total we gbe mama we bia we nukpo du we do bo be mie nu we mama we ukpo na ya ka sun e igo na ni mie lo de nya ego ni ka ya do ki ge ni ya de ba emi ka hie we those o we hie ebodi nukpo ebodi no pa wa hie so pe en we do mie mo kpo ike gba e ku we me ka mu we no hie mineral na te anyo no fure bai no be de bread ne nukpo o be ya gwale ki no na be de o be o ga ma ne ko ri re ba be ku e no total o yo o e wi ni emi e no gbera ni ya wa ya swe ki anyo no be de bread ba o no be no fure no be de ba no ya ri o de mama nu we me oni o e ni magwa kana nu da le be no wa e be ni kata o wo pa ro na mi we u sesele ke gberi ga aje awa ko ndo sa obodo ọba ebe na yikọ bọ kí ṣe lé ẹ o sẹ́nà vẹ̀nyà ẹ o sẹ́ni vẹ̀nyà ẹ ni ẹ o pẹ́ ni ya bọ́rí o bánu ìhà ọba tẹ́ ti yà sá èmi àmì ẹ̀ wẹ́ mi àmú dùn nínú àti àpàtẹ́síọ̀nù ẹ̀kọ́ ẹ̀dá sọ́tọ̀ ọgbẹ́ yìí yẹ̀wù nẹ ẹ̀ma ni ẹ̀yà mú mi kò bọ́ ẹ̀ náà ìbò òkàdé okó fẹ́lẹ̀ màgú wa òbú wa ẹ̀rọ dẹ̀rọ go wà á yàtọ̀ ti yà ẹ̀kọ́ náà èmi ìfànù wẹ̀ bí ẹ̀yà gbọ̀n màá do vi ọ ní àdó ga yẹ ìgò ní nà wà mí mẹ́ àwọn òkú ni náà sùn ye ya so ni na we ye ga ke na na boy o he o se ke no he ni na we ge na ge ni ye we na we walking e va na do be ga mo i go ke wu ya renia ye bu ya ge ye ti ni ya do vio me ba ni na e Jonathan be e jombu ya do ga yi go ni ya ye e dagbe ya ga yi go ni ona we ni me wu na i me go ona wo ma we ya me wo wa o we me no pa so pizza go do fi bo pa keka ko de ka ko wa ko de ye na wo wa ma enwe iwe na ya we agwale ezagodo oga we kuro kinegbo e ya ga leru we ma atu opa ni we me ni ya ye abo ga ni o ga tu e o ga ivone do ka mi e ona gele we we ri o fi gboda gbera gbona we ya kiyo ya asusa emi no mari e mo bo ga wu e o sa ba fi agbe do emi we lapo gbona u me ma pa be ko enu awu ya pa bu sere usena obama ya gu se ginegbe obama be yara igbo wa yusere oba atope
ise anyway obama ya gbo segi ni gbe so bo na guse si ma so bo na guse su wa uso mo no usigo no no ri akin na tuto sanu dazi enika emi no ibe ma ne do ya fe no salobo apase yo no nere ibe ma ya se egbe otona mu mami mi mai ya se hotel gelegele ase amanya enia ma hon ya we awa mi mai ma wa viubo ma wa hunwa otono salobo ya yi ma ke pori ade ke go giso ade ma evidence eni ye ma na mi mai bo otondo ma na mi mai na ite data ere mara we mi US ma na mi mai wo ki edo no pe wo ma go egbe ma kan owu egbe o ga la e gogo ire na mi mai ri yo we upona mo na ni wa ne do wani we khone do wani biemi da yin gbere wa gi ma tota na ka bo gba ko towo ekeno te ma la èyí ní bóyá màmá náà tẹ map ọ̀rọ̀ dé ara dò fẹ́ wòlé kékeré náà abẹ́rẹ́ ìgbẹ́ náà fẹ́ wòlé lé kọ́tù màgírí máa rí kọ́tù òṣèré ni màá hó nẹ nọ tí màá wẹ gbé ẹ̀yìn nìkí náà mú àmì máa yẹ èdè ọ̀nà ni wọ́n ẹ̀dẹ́ wẹ́ náà tẹ́ àbá ìmúnọ̀sà ẹ̀yìn àkínkò kó nìyà náà dó dú ẹ̀kẹ́ òfin gbọ̀n náà dó adó ọ̀nàdó kí ó pọ̀ máa jẹ́rìí ayé rẹ̀ ọ̀nùwẹ̀ ẹ̀kí inú wa adó wá dó ẹ̀yìn iná kà inú kan ẹ̀kẹ́ òfin gbọ̀n ní wa adó ẹ̀kẹ́ ìbàdí ẹ̀kẹ́ mọ́tò ẹ̀kẹ́ nọ̀ríyàkí nana ke na we ya bio bona ke ki ivie ni gbe ni bio ru na e we do ma defio bozo ma la defio ave tutto salo bo ayo awe gberu mama erere we igba you know say o mana seti asane emo nu bio ye webe bozo ma na migo ya mo migo ya ha we temina we temi ite we gba o ma ti we migo no ave ya ha temi no pa olowo udo uro ani wo ke dege mi ni afia ya zeso pa ori enwe usaro bari no wa biro ubiere obiro enina o mai oro ipolo apolo no gima o ya ruwe ni wa egbe emita ma wona na we upono gbera na ni maye na na no gbera na da mo he na emi no ye no lowo no hin ara me no lowo ni ye gbe sunu de mi o do kun isipo na bene mi ani aya fo sabo no ge mi ani fo egbe we we make na ma o da mi na make na dolomo yi o ten bizugbe
upogbon na mu he be no keke na ya yin be na ya be lo e magun kan na o be are be no wan o pe ana no wa me ogomade anobun o na mo egbe wi yen me keni ehin ari o kepa o na fi obo ye po o na ri e isele o na ri no pa o na ri islave na ri no pa o na ri slise na ri na awogomade ai wa ya do eki o yen de ni ere o o tere na ri slise o na yi slise o na ya yen ipin isen ya yen ipin gbe na ri slave na ya yen ipin ene ya yen ipin ipin na ri slo pa na we o pe na yen awo manokin ekonoma ko yo na ya ro ona ya tonu to na ri wo ile yuwe ari na mewo ke no yore awa gbo wa da nekasi wa ma wa be wa ya dweki he na ri pe ipese na na ya bi ipin gbe la den we re ni emi ewo ona we ofun egbegbo ero ogbon ma die si e okin na ri ipin vana ori ipin nere na we ofu egbe emi no ma kan aso obo na ri se le pa na na we yan awo manuhi no ro we kan ma ko yi igo we yen to na yi woto ona ya wo le re na we ogbon ma ja dan e okin wo se ti yi kobo ya ki kobe va de ti yen wa ri wo na ya we mi o be ri go no abie nugbe na ya ton ya yo to ni o pa no me ni ona mi e ona ri ba no me no bun hu do ni de we se ti yi kobo ya ki kobe va we fi were upogbon awe lana we ni an we se ti aye wa ri kobo ye ki gebe ki kobe va de agbe we ga se ti awo ni we ri ke amomo go bi wa hu da we oku na egbe ma ya le o re yi ege na o wo yi gbewe here nu se ti be ga ru na we mi we so we ri no ma no wa wu ge we kan we ga ge we ga ku na we ga ku we de gu we te we amomo me de egbe we ki no we ri no ma hu da we no ri we kai tinumu yo orion enwanu lo o kan ya we la wo da
we se
oba atope
ise ede no ni wan ewe we lupo na ye magwa kana ya se mu gbo ya se ya ugbo nu we mu nupo no aye opona e ko na mu gbo nya bie wa obo we na o ma se ti ya nwu na wo na o mami e na nwu na no mo sie ni nya ni manama emi no bi nya ri emi na ge ori nya we o se
o nya
ori ha do ri oka we egene de imatemi tomatoes mai mi ekwe mai mi ehie mai mi ya kolo ugbe ma hunda isia ike mwere na mai ko we ni mateka ko o haro ami mahadi ne so wa emi okeke na fi wuri aro nedo na miewe emina here no wagana ma have ko o ya ro kere abe bari oba ewi obono abo ode na ya mugbo ode abe ni aro ote ha ni avion ni ya mugbo obo sese ote pastor
domusa nala wo edunu pevo owe no so ba wa ma o ke kira ya gia wa je we no si ko no ma fe owo ka bi mo la ni ya gbofo onyonyo ko give ai no ya yo bosu do we mo ze ko na ragun nala wo eme ni magun akara oke yewe na we emi na gba ori yeke na ya re mi se na mana mu so be na gwaleji ni na mana mu so be ode no keke nda ken wete on we se opono gbera o ma se ba woto bo ye ko wege ebize ni mana wa se ba fu emize nda no mu egbedo on eke no ri adobo mi o ma se ba on emi ze no mana se ba eye ga ki abe do be emize no mana se ba ni o ka bo mu egbe be no sun no de na we gbedo sun de na o kwe emi na gba ogi yeke na ge kina na de na ge mi ze we mo gbe apowo sa oba we eno ya ma su we lupo no gbera fun ne so pe ye na ibe ri etin we be go be o oje be ne upoje oje na ge be wa izeti ebe una ti e papa ni fo ugwo ni uwo ogbo nu we ni ba nu we he ke we gbe sun ebi no ogbo ni tari no tam we nu ya ti e o emie enu dege emu mie so pa wa gi ma ga ese o sa no ba la ni ma ga deri eke no ga la go da o ni ma so pe no aya la go da o ni awe ma we na be ipede ne no gbera na ni uwe amu egbe wa ga kia do afi we ri ebu nyi me so no afi we eri ma no ro wa ma ne gu wa no ro wa go ze bo do no ro wa we akpomo sa oba we un we lu po no gbera so po na de ba me so no afi we ri bi gyo wa we no jo wa di de no ko ni e ga fi okmanike na ku gbe ga ro ne mo we mama e yo to ne a e do ya tie mo ya fe bupo na nu ye ne no bu ezo no vi ezo kwa we mro ya wa dolo e ogun we ri e no mo pa nu po oso wa de a eri de a de mama no onu mama yo no ya tie so wa e eri ya no ba de yo na we gbe adolo yi se de mama pa nu we me a igon we ukinu we wa mi na wa ya de nyo we wa mi ukinu wa de egede ose ni bun ya ilega we o abe fone e ya be ni aka e ya bun ye gbo we ga gwa le no ri obo no mi e eru we awon gbe ya so po la line na o ke anu we ke anu po ami obo wa awa kia o do se ke no ke we ke ba nu we wa bi e awa nwa nyo le ran mi ri kia we ga de o ma ni yezu ozo amagi no be no ki amaye we no wa lumen ami nu no gwo mariwo eru we awon gbe ya kia po na line na o ke nu we wu yo nu fi we ri e nu we no ya dole dagbon we yi e una so lo ba ri ori enu ene e na no sai e o sa uno ma o so lo ba no la no gerun we se we nu na e we da fi ni we do so ba be fi obo we da we be ni ara manuel oba atope ise
anyway ya iwada yi mai bota ma ye na ni wa erewe gba ne ye mo pa yo tin
ibude ma yeye owo wa na gbe ude no ya ere mi eyan ri iwuku hu da we na bu wo de na nya we na lele una ga we utila e wa ma ti e mi ropodopa o ma ti e kwaro we kelu ga aye nupo e kan ya aye po na so pa we na lelu we ibude na de ko na fi weri e alawo da ga gu we do temu we kino ibe ri e na mo oba atope
ise atan pastor
don mo say do no pe wo eri ma ya mo like mo won wa ya megen wa ya da mi ma wa ga la na fi bo weri ni mi ya do mani ma oba atope
eri me ye no sa bo se je no we pon wa ya fe aye me neru no salo bo la wo na fi agbera ro ma ya fe oro no wa ya fe oro no ba bedo ya fe oro ni wa no ya wa ke no nya de ya fe oro no gbugbo odo eki ewi ya no wari ato bo mu emoni ye webe e ya fe ni la moto ye yari wa ya so wa ni we kun mi ni hospital wa ga fe wo no ma yo hospital to wa fe mi ni ala odo ara ro ne do ya fe oba atope
ise
On the network news tonight, APC National Free Trade words over Rivers political umpires. President Tinubu needs Senator Magnus Abe for NUPRC Board Chairman, Adeniji NMDPRA Board Chairman. Edo tourism gets a major boost as Kada Plaza and Entertainment unveils 5D Bold Cinema. And workers and fatigue dominate TV and radio first 26 health lecture.